Hello and good afternoon. Happy Savage Saturday. Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here. And today, guys, we're on episode 138. We're going to go over a character created by Howie Post. We're going to have a little fun with it. And it's unique. The art's fantastic. And we are talking about Anthro. And we're going to read his first appearance here in DC Showcase Presents issue number 74. So a lot of fun here. Great cover by Howie Post and a Howie Post creation. And we're going to do a read through so you get the story. And a fun book which went on for a 6-issue series. And then there was a follow-up series called Kong, the Untamed. And that went on for 5 issues. And he was supposed to be a descendant of Anthro. By different creators, but still cool. And you'll see a retro cover rewind coming to that pretty soon. But let's get into this. So again, Anthro, DC Showcase Presents issue number 74. Howie Post cover, Howie Post art, and written by Howie Post. Just a whole Howie Post production. All right, and we're going to get in this. Let's see. Oh, this is a fun ad. I didn't see this one often. Alien ship identified. It's an exciting new hobby kit by Aurora from the thrilling TV series on NBC. UFO from the Invaders. So look at that. Fun little back ad. But let's get to our main tale. So as our story opens up, you have Anthro watching a woman jump into the water. And it says, "It does not look ferocious." This is Anthro thinking to himself. "And yet my father warns me that the beasts formed in my mother's image are the deadliest of all." And so we got a good opening splash there. It says by Howie Post. Good art. And of course, a little humor about women being dangerous. So there's some themes in this which are going to be either funny to you or not. Howie Post obviously had something with mother-in-laws, and that'll come through. But next page. So he's sitting down, he's watching her swim, and he says, "I think I will capture it and keep it for a pet. My father is too cautious." And then he gets smacked in the back of the head, and he's being dragged away by this Neanderthal. And as he's rubbing his head and coming back, you see the woman taking off in the background, and you see someone who identifies himself who starts speaking, says, "Your luck is good. It might have been one of the tribe of the eaters of human flesh instead of me. Show a father some gratitude." So his father looks nothing like him. And you see Anthro talking to his father. "Thank you, father." And his father replies, "That rounded beast might be a bait sent out by the man-eaters to trap such as you." And we go to the next page with Anthro and his father making their way back. It says, "The careless hunter becomes the prey," his father advises him. "They are dangerous times for men. You must keep your mind on your hunting." To which Anthro replies, "Yes, father." And then his father's pointing out as they're crossing some great arc that's a crude bridge, and says, "See how the white dust of cold begins to descend the mountain? Soon the season of cold begins. We must go on a great hunt for meat to last us through the time to come." And it's just more of the father educating the son. And then he says, "Now catch me a good fish that we may not go home empty-handed." And you see Anthro throwing a spear into the water after he sighted something, as his father's giving him some instructions. And Anthro brings up a big fish, and his father says, "Better than nothing." And we'll show you those, although I've been showing you on the side. Here we go. So, fun art. Great imagination. As we turn the page, Anthro is really proud with his catch. He says, "What shall we hunt for our winter meat, father?" And his father replies, "Yesterday I found sign of the greatest game of all." And to which Anthro replies, "The serpent knows. When do we hunt him? I cannot wait." And his father replies, "Tomorrow." "Enough talk now. I must save my wits for your mother's mother. She will have sharper marks for our poor catch today." And as they're entering the village, his wife and his other son are there. And there's an old lady, which can only be his wife's mother. yelling at them. Look what your mighty hunters bring our cook fire, daughter. Have you ever gazed on a sight so pitiful? And the husband's just playing the role. He's like, true, dear old woman. The sweetness of your greeting is our only good luck all day. So he's kind of sweeten her up a little bit. So there's that page. And then on the next, you see everyone eating. And you see the wife replying, it's a fine fish, my hunters. I shall heat a large cooking stone that we may enjoy it for our night meal. And her mom says, how can 5 be fed on such a beast as this? It is too small. And then you see the father talking to the son, a little on the side, says, I've left a bit of meat on those skins you chew for softening, old dear. That should help fill your stomach. And then he whispers to his son, it is the size of her mouth that makes all other things seem small. So, and as we get to the next one, he's still talking to his son. He says, do not make my mistake when you take a wife, my son. Your mother insisted that I take along the old pouch, referring to her mother. He goes, were I not a most civilized man, I would never put up with her. And then the scripted text says, as night falls, the family takes its last meal of the day and retreats to the cave. But the father gets no repose. An old enemy, a toothache, returns, and he makes a reluctant decision. Carrying an important-looking rolled skin, he enters Anthro's chamber. Wake up, my son. And Anthros rubbing his eyes, says, is it so soon? Time for the hunt? And the father says, no, behold these delicate instruments. And he unrolls the skin to show like a mallet and a pick type thing. He goes, I captured them too from your mother's tribe. Take them up. And he's pulling his jaw, he's pointing inside. He goes, they are powerful medicine. You will put the wedge against this poisoned tooth and strike it a hard blow with the mallet. It is the very latest in tooth medicine. So, already things are going off the rails here for Anthro and his dad. And it's just going to be farcical to go. So the father is drinking some wine from the skin. He says, first, I will drink the water of the walking sleep. It will make me braver than I am already. He goes, now be a good son and strike with sharp aim. This one, here. And he's pointing to the tooth. And Anthro's holding the instruments and he says, but father, I cannot. The thought of striking such a blow at my own father. And his father replies, here, you drink some of this magic water. It'll make you brave. And Anthro takes the wine from him and goes, my father honors me. It is a drink reserved for chiefs. Anthro gulps the familiar brew as he would water, says the descriptive text. And then you see his face. He's like, oh, and he's all messed up. And his father's laughing. He goes, ha, strong. Is it not? That is why only chiefs can drink it. Now hurry before the bravery flees. And his father bends forward, opens his mouth, and pulls his cheeks back. And he yells to his son, strike hard and strike true, my son. The mouth of a man is very strong. And to which Anthro replies, yes, sir. And then, wham, you see the father fly back. And then he gets up and he's just got a look of anger on his face and he punches Anthro. And you're like, but he asked him to do it. Why would he strike him? So there we go. More farce. As we turn to the next page, you see the swirls around Anthro's head as he's getting his bearings again. And his father's helping him. He goes, forgive your father. It is not his custom to be struck without returning the blow. As if that negates that he actually hit him. And then in the next panel, he's holding his tooth. He goes, you've done your work well. We've removed the foul tooth without spoiling my handsomeness. Your mother will be grateful. And the next panel, you see Anthro saying, I am a lucky son to have you for a father, not an enemy, as he's holding where he got socked. And his father says, come, the sun already throws its fire on the mountaintops. We must hasten to the hunter's cave for our ritual. And he goes, and you see them enter the cave, and there's actually a woolly mammoth in there. And it says, soon they arrive at the ritual cave, a huge vault, its walls decorated with the mystical signs of many hunters. Within lies a giant effigy, draped in the crisp, fetid felt of a long-dead mammoth. And you see Anthro saying, the odor is test enough of any hunter's strength. And his father replies, the great beast bequeaths us a powerful odor after death. He wishes to be remembered. Come, we must begin our initiation. So they're near this mammoth skin, and they're looking on the walls, and the father's instructing Anthro. He says, "You will place the mark of your throwing hand twice on the magic wall." And we go to the descriptive text, and it says, "The ritual of the mammoth hunter begins. A rich ochre silhouettes Anthro's hand sign. In a short while, he will be one of the rarest of upright men, a mammoth hunter." And his father says, "Now, the throwing of the spear, a strike in a vital spot, our hunt will be rewarded." As he throws this spear into the animal skin, the mammoth skin. And Anthro says, "Father, the sun rises high. Our quarry will flee while we battle this effigy." And his father screams back, "Silence! Your lack of religious sentiment disgusts me. Throw the spear." And Anthro just replies, "Yes, father," and readies to throw the spear into the mammoth skin. So here we go. A lot of fun there. Harry Post having a great time writing. And we go to our next page, and the descriptive text says, "Ritual completed, the pair treks to the high ground overlooking a vast grassy plain. There on the plain, grazing a swath through the tall grass, they spy their huge prey. The hunt begins." And then you see the father holding up a dandelion as he gets the direction of the wind. He goes, "The wind is kind. It blows to us from the direction of the serpent nose. You will circle upwind and startle him. I will be waiting. When he turns to flee, you follow him and join in." And we go to our next page, and the panel shows the mammoth eating. And you see behind the rock, hidden for now, is Anthro. And it says, "Anthro circles wide, so as not to flush the mammoth too soon. His father waits, spear poised." Next panel, you see Anthro shaking his spear and trying to get the mammoth's attention while the father gets ready his spear. It says, "The mammoth catches the feared scent of man as Anthro heckles him to hasten his retreat." And then next panel says, "But the huge beast does the unexpected. He turns and charges Anthro." You see his father running after the mammoth. He says, "Strike true, my son. I come to your aid." And so right now Anthro's in trouble as the woolly mammoth charges him. And then he throws, the mammoth rears up on its hind legs, and the descriptive text says, "Awed by the size and power of the mammoth, Anthro hesitates, missing his chance. And his father is screaming behind the mammoth, 'Throw!' And Anthro throws, but the throw is late. Stung, the beast swerves and knocks over the father in his retreat. Now the beast has a spear through the snout, and you see the father get knocked over. And the father is on his backside, says, 'The great pig is only stung. Give me my spear.' And you see Anthro pick it up. And his father screams, 'My spear!' And Anthro says, 'He flees, and I am faster, father. I will use your weapon well.' And it says, clutching his father's spear, Anthro trails the wounded giant past the edge of the plain. Soon the mammoth stops at a tree to flail his trunk free of the tormenting spear." So we'll see a couple there. Anthro missing his chance and only hitting him in the snout. The mammoth taking off, his father laying on his backside, and Anthro grabbing his father's weapon to go get the mammoth. And then it says on the next page, stealthily Anthro approaches to position himself for a new throw. The mammoth senses his presence as the huge beast turns. Anthro launches his father's spear. And the mammoth is still kind of upright because it's trying to break the spear off in the tree branches. He goes, "This time the strike is true." The youth leaps in exultation as the mammoth crumples to the earth. And he cuts the tail. Bearing high his trophy, Anthro races out to give his father the news. And he's thinking to himself as he runs, he's got the tail waving behind him. And he says, "There will be meat for the long winter and bone and hair for weapons and tools." And we cut to a scene where the father's back at camp and mad. And you see the wife pleading with him, "Please, husband and master, Anthro is unwise in these things. You must not do this." And it says, "A hero's welcome does not await Anthro's victorious return." And then you see the father saying, "He has seized my spear in the hunt, and now he must pay. Leave me." And her mom, the old crone, she's saying, "The animal, he would kill his own son for a length of wood and bone." And Anthro's running back into camp, exalted, happy, waving the tail. He says, "Look, Father, I've slain the serpent nose. I bring you honor." And his father exclaims, "You bring me shame." And at this point, you're like, why? Right? So there we go. So as we turn our page and our story continues, it says, "My father, Jess," Anthro says, looking at his dad, Where have I done you dishonor? Do I not bring you sign of my prowess?" And his father exclaims back while holding the club high. He says, you have usurped my weapon in the hunt. By the laws of my tribe, that is a challenge to my rule in this family. Now we must fight for the symbol of that rule, the baton of command. It is a fight to the death. And his father means to fight him to the death, just over some stupid ritual. And you see Anthro say, "But I do not wish to battle my own father. What law says I must?" And his father says, "The law of your father's tribe. Men make laws. We are not bears that speak." And his wife is behind him saying, "Stop, my husband, stop." And there we go. And as we turn our page, you see the wife holding on to the father's leg and begging him. And she says, "How can you do this? He is your own blood. You became an exile from your tribe to live with me. You cannot give up one of its laws to save your son." And the father says, "Silence. Would you wish me to follow the laws of your people, where men worship the carving of a woman? He must fight. It is the law. Now go." And he kind of throws his wife off him. And you see her talking to Anthro. She says, "Flee from this place, Anthro, or I must lose a son or a husband." And Anthro says, "No, I must honor my father by obeying his laws. I cannot disgrace him by flight." And his father barks to his wife, "Leave the boy alone. Enough talk. The noise of the woman will bring me down before a blow is struck." And he looks to Anthony and goes, "You must wrest the baton of command from my grasp or die failing." So as you can see, it's getting serious. His father's way too caught up in the traditions of his tribe, and he would actually do harm to his son over those laws. So as we turn to the next page, you see the young kid, Anthro's small little brother, hugging the mother. And she's talking. She says, "I should have died with my tribe rather than let that savage take me for his wife." And her mother's saying, "The beast, when no one else looks, the people of his tribe walk on all fours." And his father behind them is saying, "The battle begins." And he takes a swipe at his son. Anthro definitely ducks all the attacks and then tackles his father over a cliff that they roll down, a hillside. Anthro comes to a stop rolling down, but his father lands in a swamp. And his father says, "The swamp of the hungry mud, it will swallow my father," Anthro says as he's sliding down. Sorry, not his father. Anthro said it. So it's like kind of like quicksand or pit. And you see them right here. His father's now in dire trouble because he's stuck in some quicksand, which they call the hungry mud. And as we turn the page, you see his father flailing, struggling to free himself. The father sinks deeper and deeper into the quicksand. And Anthro yells out, "Do not struggle, I will help you." And Anthro, descriptive text again, it says, "Anthro frees a fallen limb from the dense hummock." And he hands it out to his father, and he helps his father come to shore. And his father says, "You have saved me from the hungry swamp." And Anthro goes, "You are my father." And his father says, "And you are a fool," as he swings at Anthro again. And the law leaves no place for your gesture. It is a fight to the death. And his father, crazed, jumps at him again. Anthro backs up, and he trips over a rock. Says Anthro backs away to avoid his father's lunge and trips. A split second later, the father's leap carries him smashing into the same boulder. But Anthro's father, with Anthro falling over the boulder, hits the boulder face first. It says, "The blow was too much for the older man." And his father says, "You battled poorly, my son, struck not a single blow, and yet you defeat me. Raise the baton." And his father says, "The baton of command is yours. Now you must end my shame with it. Strike the blow of grace." And the old lady, his wife's mother is in the back going, "It is the law," because she doesn't like her husband, her daughter's husband. And Anthro says, "I cannot." And the father says, "Obey a father's last command." So we'll take a look there. As you can see, the story just like escalates and escalates and just keeps going, but always with a little bit of humor in it. And then the old lady says, "Look below, daughter. Anthro raises the baton to strike. The law is just." And the wife is holding the smaller son who's got his face buried in his mom. And he says, "That man has risked his life for your food and skins, and he has given me 2 sons." And as she's chastising her mom a little for wishing one of them dead. And Anthro, we cut to Anthro over his dad, and he says, "You say I am master now. Then I make a new law. A law of love. A law which does not ask me to kill you. Who taught me to hunt and fish, and who saved me from the tiger. Here, I return the baton." His father grabs the baton, and he smashes it on the boulder he smashed his face in. He says, "Then the old law is dead. We begin to live by your law, my son." And the old lady says, "Behold, your man shatters the baton. It is a sacrilege." And the wife is smiling, and so is the young kid. And she says, "The son has taught the father." And they have risen above the half-bears of the father's tribe. They learn to love others as a mother loves her child. Anthro will teach us all. And you see the beginnings of Anthro becoming a leader and using a bit more common sense than his dad possesses. And as we go to the final page, it says, "The father's wounds are tended, and a hot broth warms him." And you see the father speaking that to his family, goes, "You must hasten to cut the meat of the serpent nose before the dogs get it all. Take our sharpest stones." And the youngest kid says, "Father, I have cut meat. I even have made stone blades. Let me go with Anthro." And the father says, "Your timing is good, little one. Anthro will need help with myself, weak as a woman. Yes, you may go." And you see the young kid jump up, blade in hand, and then you go back to the father saying, may your timing be as good with the spear, my sons. The land is full of dangerous beasts. Even the deer does not turn from man." And then as you see Anthro and his brother out in the wild, you see a woman crouched behind a tree watching them. And it says, "The prophecy of the father's words is not false. For as they set out, they are watched by the most dangerous of all beasts." And thus ends our tale. So, a little bit of some outdated views for sure, but a funny story. The first time I read it, I remember chuckling quite a bit, just at the absurdity of some of the stuff. And I'm going to leave this up too at the end. This is a funny article that they had put in this first appearance of Anthro, and I think you guys will enjoy the read. So it's definitely a fun little homage. But overall, what are my thoughts on the story? I'm going to give the story a B+. This was a lot of fun. It was lighthearted. It had some serious tones in it, and it had some really weird customary things with the father and his tribe, although he isn't part of that tribe anymore. And you had the wife sticking up for the husband, even though she was disgusted by some of the things that he did, especially to her mother-in-law, who just wanted everyone to bow to whatever she needed. A fun little story, fantastic art, and just a nice, fun read, and a great title. So I like the way it stands out. It's different, and so good trade dress on it. But fantastic art, a fun creation by Howie Post. So I give the art an A, I give the story a B+. So overall, we'll give this an A-. If you're into this sort of storytelling, you're going to love it. If you like a lighthearted view with a little bit of stakes and risk in it, then it'll be a good read for you. But that's it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this tale. And hit the like button if you enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments what you thought was good about it, what you thought was bad about it. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and keep it casual.